The rain has been falling for hours. Cold, heavy, relentless. It runs down your face, mixing with sweat and mud. You can barely keep your eyes open. Your hands tremble as you grip what remains of your sword. The battlefield is almost silent now. Not because the battle is over, because almost everyone is gone. Around you lie broken spears, discarded helmets, abandoned banners swaying in the wind. The air smells of wet earth and smoke. A wounded horse slowly walks through the battlefield without its rider. You try to stand. Pain shoots through your body. You fall back to your knees. In the distance, a lone samurai begins walking toward you. Slowly, calmly. His armor is dark with rain. His katana remains lowered at his side. He says nothing. You know exactly why he is coming. Your breathing becomes faster. This is the moment you feared since the day you first held a wooden sword. Not death. Failure. You close your eyes for a single second, trying to remember your father's face, your mother's voice, your quiet village hidden among the mountains. 3 months ago, you believed becoming a samurai would bring honor, respect, purpose. You had no idea. It would lead you here, alone, broken, waiting for a man whose name you do not even know. The year is 1582. Long before you ever held a sword, you were simply the son of a poor farmer. Your village lies hidden between green mountains in feudal Japan. Only a few dozen families live here. Life is quiet, simple, predictable. Every morning begins the same way. Before the sun rises, your father is already working in the rice fields. Your mother prepares a small bowl of rice mixed with vegetables. Sometimes there is fish. Most days there is not. You have never tasted luxury. You have never seen a castle. The world beyond these mountains feels like another universe. As a child, your greatest responsibility is helping your family survive. You carry buckets of water, gather firewood, repair fences, help plant rice beneath the burning summer sun. Every grain matters. A poor harvest can mean hunger for everyone. Despite the hard work, you love this place. The sound of birds every morning, the wind moving through the bamboo, the smell of fresh rain. This is home. Then one morning, everything changes. You hear horses, not one, several. The entire village stops working. Children run toward the road. Adults lower their heads immediately. A group of samurai slowly rides through the village. Their armor shines beneath the morning sunlight. Their horses move calmly. Nobody dares speak. You have never seen men like these before. To you, they don't look human. They look like legends. One of them briefly looks in your direction, only for a second. Yet your heart begins racing. That single moment changes everything. For the first time in your life, you no longer dream of becoming a farmer. You dream of becoming one of them. You have absolutely no idea how much that dream will cost. That night, you cannot sleep. Every time you close your eyes, you see them. The samurai, their armor, their horses, the quiet confidence in the way they carried themselves. They looked fearless, almost immortal. Your father notices your silence during dinner. He knows exactly what is on your mind. Without looking at you, he quietly says, "Those men do not live easy lives." You do not answer, because you are no longer thinking about the rice fields, or the harvest, or the village. You are imagining battlefields, castles, honor, adventure. The next morning, you wake before sunrise, not because your father called you, because you are determined to become stronger. You begin swinging a long wooden branch. Again, And again, and again. You pretend it is a sword. Your movements are clumsy. You lose your balance. You fall into the dirt. You stand up and try again, every single day. After finishing your work in the fields, you secretly continue practicing. Sometimes for only a few minutes, sometimes until the sun disappears behind the mountains. The villagers smile when they see you. Some laugh. You'll always be a farmer. One old man gently tells you, dreams don't fill empty stomachs. Maybe he is right, but your dream refuses to disappear. Weeks pass, then months. One quiet autumn morning, the horses return. This time, the samurai stop in the village, not to pass through, to recruit. The local lord needs new young servants and trainees. Every family gathers in the village square. Your heart pounds so hard you can barely breathe. The commander slowly walks past every young boy, one by one. Then he stops in front of you. For a long moment, he says nothing. Finally, he nods. Your mother immediately begins to cry. Your father lowers his head, proud but afraid. By sunset, your small cloth bag is packed. You take one last look at your home. The mountains, the rice fields, the little wooden house where you grew up. You believe you are leaving to become a hero. You have absolutely no idea. You are leaving your childhood behind forever. The journey lasts 2 full days. You have never traveled so far from home. The mountains slowly disappear behind you. Each step carries you farther away from the only life you have ever known. The other boys are just as nervous. Some are excited. Others cry quietly at night when nobody is watching. Nobody speaks very much. Nobody knows what awaits. On the morning of the 3rd day, the gates finally appear. A massive wooden fortress rises before you. High walls, watchtowers, armed guards standing perfectly still. This is the residence of your new lord. The moment you step inside, everything feels different. The air itself seems heavier. No children laughing, no farmers talking, only discipline, only silence. You and the other boys are immediately lined up in the courtyard. An older samurai slowly walks in front of each of you. His armor is simple, but every movement commands respect. He studies your face, your posture, your hands, without saying a word. Finally, he speaks. From this day forward, you no longer belong to your village. You belong to your lord. The words strike harder than you expected. For the first time, you truly understand. You are not here to become a hero. You are here to serve. Your old clothes are taken away. In exchange, you receive simple training garments. Nothing impressive. No armor, no sword, no symbol of honor. Only rough fabric, a sleeping mat, a wooden bowl. That evening, you expect your first sword lesson. Instead, a broom is placed into your hands. You will clean the courtyard, the hallways, the stables, the training grounds. Hour after hour, some boys complain, others refuse. The instructors remain calm. The man who cannot care for his surroundings will never care for his sword. You begin to understand. Before learning to fight, you must first learn discipline. And discipline is far harder than holding a blade. The next morning, before the sun rises, a bell echoes across the fortress. Every recruit wakes instantly. There are no second chances here. You quickly fold your sleeping mat, wash your face with freezing water, and report to the training yard. Today, for the first time, a wooden sword is placed into your hands. It is heavier than you imagined. The instructor speaks only a few words. A sword does not make you a samurai. You do. The training begins immediately. You copy every movement. Step forward, strike, step back, again, again, again. Within minutes, your arms begin to ache, your hands burn, sweat runs into your eyes, but nobody is allowed to stop, not even for a moment. Around you, some boys lose their balance, others drop their wooden swords. Each mistake is corrected instantly, sometimes with only a look, sometimes with a sharp strike from a bamboo stick. Not to injure, to teach. Days become weeks, weeks become months. Your body slowly changes. The work in the rice fields made you strong. This training makes you disciplined. You begin learning archery, meditation, how to kneel correctly, how to bow, how to speak, how to remain perfectly still for long periods of time. Every movement has meaning. Every word has purpose. Every mistake has consequences. One afternoon, the instructor asks you a simple question. What is the purpose of a sword? Some boys answer, to defeat your enemy. Others say, to protect your lord. The old samurai quietly shakes his head. The greatest warrior is the one who never needs to draw his sword. Silence fills the courtyard. You had dreamed of becoming a fearless warrior. Instead, you are slowly becoming a man who must first learn patience, self-control, respect. Only then will you be worthy of carrying a real katana. The seasons have changed. Nearly 3 years have passed since you left your village. You barely recognize the boy you once were. Your hands are stronger now. Your posture is straighter. Your movements are precise. Every morning begins before sunrise. Every evening ends after sunset. Discipline has become second nature. One cold autumn morning, the fortress feels strangely different. The instructors speak in quieter voices. Messengers ride in and out through the main gate. Servants hurry across the courtyard carrying supplies. Something is happening. No one explains why. Later that afternoon, every trainee is ordered to assemble in the central courtyard. The atmosphere is completely silent. Your master slowly walks toward the group. For a long moment, he says nothing. Then he finally speaks. The time for training is over. You will now serve your lord. The words echo across the courtyard. Some recruits smile, others look terrified. You feel both, one by one. Each trainee steps forward. When your name is called, you kneel. An attendant places folded armor before you. It is not beautiful. It is not decorated with gold. It is scratched, worn, clearly used by another warrior before you. But to you, it is the most valuable thing you have ever touched. Carefully, you put it on for the very first time. The weight surprises you. It is heavier than you imagined, harder to move, harder to breathe. The armor does not make you feel powerful. It makes you realize how serious your new life has become. Next, a real katana is presented before you. Not a wooden practice sword, a real blade. The polished steel reflects your face. For several seconds, you simply stare at it. You remember the child who once pretended a tree branch was a sword. Now, a real weapon rests in your hands. Your master looks directly into your eyes. This sword is not a reward. It is a responsibility. If you draw it, you must be prepared to accept everything that follows. You bow deeply. For the first time, you truly understand. Today, you did not become a hero. You became a samurai. And somewhere beyond the fortress walls, a war is already beginning. Before dawn, the fortress gates slowly open. For the first time, you leave not as a trainee, but as a samurai. The sound of hundreds of footsteps fills the cold morning air. No one speaks. Only the distant cries of crows echo across the valley. The army marches through forests, across rivers, and over narrow mountain paths. Every village you pass grows strangely quiet. Farmers stop working. Children hide behind their mothers. Everyone lowers their heads as your lord's army moves forward. For them, the arrival of soldiers means only one thing: war. Days pass. Your armor grows heavier with every step. The straps dig into your shoulders. Your feet ache beneath your sandals. You sleep on the ground. You eat little. You barely speak. The excitement you once felt has slowly disappeared. One evening, your commander points toward a distant hill. Beyond it, enemy banners. For the first time, the war is no longer a story. It is real. Nobody sleeps that night. Some men quietly sharpen their blades. Others write letters they know may never be delivered. You simply sit beside a small fire, holding your katana across your knees, watching the flames dance, trying not to think about tomorrow. At sunrise, the order finally comes. Advance. Your heartbeat becomes louder than the marching drums. The valley slowly opens before you. Hundreds of armored warriors appear through the morning mist. Spears, banners, war horses. The enemy army stands silently across the field. Neither side moves. The wind is the only sound. Then, a war horn echoes across the valley. Everything changes. Men begin running. Arrows fill the sky. The ground shakes beneath your feet. Smoke rises everywhere. You lose sight of your commander almost immediately. You no longer know where your friends are, or where the enemy begins. The battlefield becomes complete chaos. You barely have time to breathe. Mud covers your armor. Rain begins falling, cold, heavy, relentless. Your hands tighten around your katana. You hear shouting from every direction. Then, a powerful blow throws you to the ground. Your sword slips from your hands. Your vision blurs. You struggle to stand. Rain runs down your face. Around you, broken banners, discarded spears, abandoned armor. A wounded horse slowly walks across the battlefield without its rider. You fall back onto one knee, breathing heavily. Then, through the rain, a lone samurai begins walking toward you, slowly, calmly. His katana remains lowered at his side. You know exactly why he is coming. This is the moment you saw at the very beginning. Only now, you finally understand how you got here. The samurai stops only a few steps away. Rain continues falling between you. For several long seconds, neither of you moves. Neither of you speaks. Then, without warning, another group of warriors crashes into the battlefield behind him. The moment disappears. The mysterious samurai turns away, running toward the new fight. You never learn his name. You never see him again. That is the first lesson war teaches you. Not every story has an ending. You force yourself back onto your feet. Every muscle in your body hurts. Your armor feels twice as heavy as it did that morning. The battlefield is no longer filled with courage, only confusion. Smoke drifts across the valley. Horses wander without riders. Broken banners lie half buried in the mud. You can barely recognize friend from enemy. Hours pass, or maybe only minutes. Time no longer has meaning. Eventually, the fighting begins to slow, not because anyone has won, because everyone is exhausted. The rain finally stops. The silence feels almost frightening. You begin walking across the battlefield, looking for the men who trained beside you, the friends who shared your meals, who laughed with you, who dreamed of becoming great warriors. Some answer when you call their names. Many do not. One young samurai sits beneath a broken banner, staring silently toward the mountains. His armor is damaged. His hands shake uncontrollably. He is alive, but something inside him has changed forever. Another recruit, barely older than you, still tightly holds his katana, even though the battle has already ended. No one tells him to let go. No one needs to. You understand? Because your own hands refuse to release your sword. That evening, there is no celebration, no songs, no speeches, only small campfires scattered across the valley. Men quietly repairing armor, sharpening blades, or simply staring into the flames. You sit alone, looking at your reflection in your katana. The face staring back at you no longer belongs to the boy who once dreamed of becoming a samurai. Without realizing it, the war has already begun changing you. And this is only the beginning. The battle is over, but your duty is not. Long before sunrise, the camp is already awake. There are no celebrations, no stories of glory, only work. Every surviving samurai receives a new assignment. Some repair damaged armor, some bury the fallen, others prepare supplies for the next march. You are sent into the nearby forest with several other warriors, not to fight, to collect firewood. As you walk beneath the towering cedar trees, the silence feels almost uncomfortable. Days ago, the men beside you laughed together. Now, very few speak. Everyone seems older, as if the battlefield stole years from each of you. When you return, a simple ceremony has begun. Rows of helmets rest on the ground. Each one belongs to a warrior who will never return home. Your commander bows his head. No speeches, no grand ceremony, only silence. You kneel with everyone else. For the first time, you understand that honor is not something you celebrate. It is something people leave behind. That afternoon, you clean your armor, slowly removing dried mud, dust, rain. Tiny scratches cover the metal. Each mark tells a story. You notice your own reflection. You hardly recognize yourself. The cheerful farm boy has disappeared. That evening, your master sits beside the fire. Without looking at you, he quietly says, "Every battle leaves two wounds. One on the body, and one you cannot see." You remain silent, because you already know he is right. Before sleeping, you remove your katana, place it carefully beside you, and for the first time since leaving your village, you begin wondering whether peace is stronger than war. Far beyond the camp, the wind moves quietly through the pine trees. Tomorrow, the army will march again, and you will follow, because that is the life you chose. Or perhaps, the life that chose you. Years pass, campaign after campaign, season after season. Eventually, the wars become fewer. Your hair grows longer, the small scar above your eye fades, but the memories never do. One quiet spring morning, your lord grants you permission to return home. For the first time in nearly 20 years, you begin the journey back. The road feels strangely familiar. The mountains, the rivers, the forests, everything looks exactly as you remember. Yet somehow, everything feels different. As you climb the final hill, your village finally comes into view. Your heart begins to race. The rice fields are still there. The river still winds through the valley. Smoke still rises from the wooden houses. For one brief moment, it feels as though nothing has changed. Then you begin walking through the village. Children run past you. They do not recognize you. The older villagers glance in your direction, then quietly look away. To them, you are simply another traveling samurai. The little house where you were born still stands, smaller than you remembered, older, weathered by time. You stop in front of the wooden doorway. For several long seconds, you cannot move. Every memory returns at once. Your mother calling your name, your father teaching you how to plant rice, the smell of fresh rain, the laughter that once filled this place. Slowly, the door opens. An elderly woman looks at you. Her eyes search your face. She hesitates. Then, almost in a whisper, she says your childhood name. For a moment, neither of you speaks. You suddenly realize she is your mother, older, smaller, her hair completely white. Time has changed both of you. You left this village dreaming of becoming a great samurai. You returned as a stranger. And somehow, that hurts more than any battle ever did. The days pass quietly. For the first time in many years, you wake to the sound of birds instead of war drums. No orders, no marching, no battle waiting beyond the horizon. Only the peaceful rhythm of village life. You help repair old fences, carry water from the river, walk through the rice fields your father once tended. The work feels strangely familiar, yet your hands no longer move like a farmer's. They move like a soldier's. Even the simplest tasks remind you that you have changed. Children sometimes follow you through the village. They admire your katana, your old armor. They ask if being a samurai is exciting. You smile politely, but you never answer their question, because the truth is far more complicated. One afternoon, you climb the same hill where, as a boy, you first saw samurai riding through your village. You remember the excitement, the dreams, the certainty that honor could only be found with a sword. Now, standing in the exact same place, you finally understand. Honor was never the armor. It was never the battles. It was never the victories. Honor was keeping your compassion in a world that constantly tried to take it away. You gently remove your katana, holding it in both hands. The blade that once represented your greatest dream now feels surprisingly heavy, not because of its weight, but because of everything it remembers. As the sun slowly begins to set, you bow your head one final time, not to your lord, not to your enemies, but to the young boy who once believed war was glorious. Without him, you would never have become the man you are today. And without everything you endured, you would never have understood that true strength is choosing peace when you finally have the power to choose otherwise. The evening breeze moves softly through the rice fields. The mountains stand exactly as they did 20 years ago. The world has continued. Life has continued. And now, so will you. The sun slowly disappears behind the mountains. Golden light fades across the rice fields. The evening breeze gently moves through the tall grass. Some things have changed. Many have been lost. But nature continues exactly as it always has. You stand quietly at the edge of the field where your father once taught you how to plant rice. For the first time in many years, there is nowhere you need to be. No orders to follow. No battles waiting beyond the next hill. Only silence. You close your eyes and listen. The birds, the flowing river, the wind moving through the bamboo. These were the sounds you heard as a child. Somehow, they never changed. You think back to the boy who watched a group of samurai ride through this village. He believed strength meant carrying a sword. He believed honor meant winning battles. He believed becoming a samurai would make him greater than everyone else. He was wrong, because after everything, the battles, the fear, the long marches, the endless rain, the friends you lost, the years that disappeared, you finally understand something your younger self never could. The strongest people are not always the ones who know how to fight. Sometimes, they are the ones who know when not to. Your katana rests quietly beside you, no longer a symbol of glory, only a reminder of the road that brought you here. You take one final look across the mountains, the same mountains that watched you leave as a frightened boy, the same mountains that welcomed you home as an old man. They never judged you. They never celebrated your victories. They simply remained. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. Life moves forward, whether we are ready or not. The sky grows darker. The first stars begin to appear above the valley. Tomorrow, the village will wake before sunrise. Children will laugh. Farmers will work. The seasons will continue. And your story will slowly become someone else's memory. As the night settles over the mountains, you smile quietly to yourself. Not because life was easy, not because the journey was fair, but because, despite everything, you survived.